What's going on, everyone? Welcome to playoffs of the PPL, where this week we're taking on Q, the Costa Rican, coach of the Chicago DRAGAPULTs. Again, we played him last week. We're playing him this week again. We're going to try to do our best. It's a tough matchup. We're going to try and make this happen. On the off chance that this is my last game in the PPL, I do just want to give big thank yous to people. I want to give a big thank you to you all as the viewers for not just supporting my channel and giving me overwhelming support. I almost didn't join PPL because I thought people would hate me too much, and it turns out, whoa, y'all are really nice, and I really appreciate it, so thank you. And then also another thing is just the transition fund. I was super nervous to put it out there. I was worried that I would get a lot of backlash for it. It's made more and gotten more support than I could have ever dreamed of, and that's all thanks to you all, so I really, really appreciate it. It's still up and running if you want to donate to it. As a tip on the video, but thus far we've gotten so much. We're only maybe $500 or $600 away from covering everything for the first surgery that I need, which includes accommodation and other miscellaneous costs like travel and things like that. So we're very, very close to that goal, and if we could reach it, that would literally mean the world to me, and I just really fucking appreciate you all for everything, so thank you. I also want to give the biggest thank you ever to J. Ricky. J. Ricky is through these last 8 weeks has become an even closer friend, and he's become so incredibly, he's always been supportive, but he's even more supportive for me throughout this whole process, and he's been amazing, not just at editing my videos at a bare minimum. He's been going the extra effort, all the little edits, all the little cuts that you see throughout the game that makes it more watchable. That is his doing, and that's completely thanks to him that you all enjoy these videos. So be sure to give him a thanks by going on his YouTube channel, tell him Addy sent you or whatever you want to do, and give him a sub, give him some love. He deserves it. He deserves it more than I deserve it. Please go check him out. I'm going to say this every single video, but J. Ricky's amazing, and he does this despite also being an admin for the PPL and also playing in other leagues of his own. He's amazing, so that's my next thank you. My other thank yous are to Jack and Ellie for creating the league, for Jack buying me the game so I could compete in this because I wasn't financially able to buy the game when, the league started. And that's incredible. I was able to get this opportunity because I have two friends in the community who really, really believed in me and really, really just wanted me to be a part of their thing. And I almost didn't join because I thought people would hate me. I thought that I would not be a person that people wanted to watch, and y'all have proved me wrong, which I really appreciate it. Your love is so fucking big, and I'm just very, very grateful. Sappy shit aside, we gotta beat the fuck out of Q, and it's gonna be really hard, right? Because we played him last week and we got dumpstered. We got absolutely dumpstered. I didn't spend too much time on the team, which is really advantageous for me this time around because I could build a more better team this time around, but the matchup still sucks. I mean, Joey said it on his stream, this is one of the matchups that, even though I have a really, really strong draft, this is a matchup I struggle with just a little bit because he has a lot of threats. He has a lot of threats that match up well against a lot of my threats, and I'll talk about it in the team builder. But because it's a more serious video, because it is a playoffs game and the team is intricate, also big shout out to everyone who helps me with the team because I'm also simultaneously doing my dissertation right now, which is very difficult to manage, playoffs of a draft league that you really, really want to do well in, and your dissertation for master's program. It's really hard to balance those two things. So there's so many people, so I'm not going to say every single name because I'm going to forget people and leave people out, but you know who you are. Thank you so much for your help, everyone who helped me with this week. But because I got all that help this week, because I put some extra thought into this because it's playoffs, I don't think I've put this much thought into a team all season. It's going to be a pretty intricate, long team builder, so look forward to it. All right, let's do this. Let's win this. Okay, I've tried recording this team builder maybe 15 times now at this point, and I just keep stumbling over my words, and I keep trying to be very oh, this does this and has the calc of this and blah blah blah, and I've thought through this team at that level where every EV is a reason to be there, but my brain isn't working right now in a way, thank God I'm playing the game tomorrow, where I can explain that to a camera right now. So I'm just going to go through the team, I'm going to say what I can, and I apologize if it's a little blah 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 blah, but I'm going to be a little I'm going to be silly Allie today. Silly Allie? My name's not Allie. See, this is what I'm saying. I'm going to be silly Addy today. just to kind of like get through this team builder, and then I promise we're going to be a lot more serious when we play the game tomorrow. But I'm just going to be a little bit more casual because I've been trying to be very like, oh, this is the official team builder because it's playoffs now and like blah, 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 blah. But no, I'm not going to stress like that. I think the solution here is just to rant if it's a long team builder, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is there's a lot of thought that went into this team. So like heading into the Q matchup of week 8, right? My mentality was there's two options. Either I could try hard to win because I want to be top seed, because I could have still been top seed by like the end of the season if I beat Q that game, but I didn't, because my mentality was I can either try really hard and make top seed and get to choose my opponent, whatever, or I could not really care too much, just bring 6 mons and see what Q does, because no matter what, Q has to bring his best team against me because he wanted to make playoffs. So at least what he thinks is his best team against me. To be honest, the team that he brought against me, in hindsight, I don't necessarily even know if it's his best team against me, because I think there's a lot of scary mons on his team, like Grimmsnarl, for example, or Thunderous, that are still quite scary against me that he didn't bring. So as much as it gave me information about sort of his mentality on the matchup, at the same time it gave me information on what didn't come, which I can like use to my advantage as building here. So I have a lot of mons that are conditional upon certain mons not coming, but then I have sort of backup conditions on if those mons come and things like that, which I'll explain as the team builder goes on if my brain allows me to. But hopefully you'll see it in the game. Once I like see team preview, I can be like, oh, okay, so this is the way that we're going to go forward. Anyway, so Q's team, which JRicky will put on screen, is definitely scary. I am most scared of a couple things. I'm scared of Grimmsnarl a lot, just because it is a really strong answer to Dragapult, but in particular, I'm not afraid of the screen set. I think people tunnel vision on that shit, and I think I'm a little bit more afraid of like T-Wave 3 attacks, or like bulk up rest, or something like that. Something which Q literally said to me in voice call that he almost had on this team. So I want to make sure I'm prepared for that, because if he's like, oh, this is the mon I almost had on my team, he's going to build around it this next game. So there's that. Zoroark Hisui, I didn't mention this last time. I am terrible at fighting Zoroark, whether it's Hisui or non-Hisuian Zoroark, just regular Unova Zoroark. I constantly forget that Zoroark exists. I constantly forget that something could be a Zoroark, and then it just catches me by surprise. I'm like surprised Pikachu face, like do not understand what's going on. I'm terrible at facing Zoroark. I just forget that it exists. So I'm going to try and keep myself mindful of it. If it doesn't come, it's going to be a relief just for that. But I feel like I've hopefully built the team in such a way that will reveal Zoroark to me. We'll see though. Bronzong is also incredibly scary. It's a really strong defensive check to a lot of things, such as Glamora and Tauros and Gardevoir. But it's also really strong offensively in the sense that it can do Iron Defense Body Press shenanigans or Trick Room like he did last time. I still think that like that could be a possible option against me. I don't know, because it just did so well last time. But last time he brought max attack, adamant, max HP. I don't think he'll do that this time. I think he'll bring like Spadef, Iron Defense Body Press if it comes. So that's what I kind of anticipate. Meloetta I think comes not necessarily just because like on matchup it looks decent. Like I feel like if it wasn't Q's MVP this season, I would feel kind of 50-50 on it coming. But I think it's definitely likely to come, given that Q just really, really likes using it, and it came last time, and it got 3 kills last time, so I feel like it just has to come this time. And it'll probably be Terra Fairy again if it comes. Sandaconda is really interesting. The team that I built is probably the weakest to Sandaconda out of any mod on Q's team, but it's also the mod that he's brought the least amount of times, you know, this season. So I have to account for that and just be mindful of that. But if Sandaconda does come, I do have to play a little bit differently, because it does stop things like, you know, King Gambit or even Dragapult to some extent. I can't really do a ton of damage to it. Zapdos and Tauros, like Arcanine, like it does defensively stop a lot of my physical offense. So I have to be mindful if it comes, how to play around it differently than the way that the team is constructed. You'll see the team in a sec. And then Volcanion is very interesting, because I thought Volcanion was a shoo-in to come last time, and it didn't come. And then after the match kind of happened, I kind of looked back at the matchup and I said, okay, yeah, it makes sense from his perspective why it wouldn't come, right? Like I have a Dragapult, I have like a Trace Gardevoir that can, water absorb. I have a ton of mons that outspeed it. Like, I have a Gastrodon, which means he would need to bring, like, Power Herb Solar Beam or something like that. So, yeah, I can understand why it didn't come this time around, or last time around. I don't know if it'll come this time around, but, again, I have a couple thoughts that, like, are a part of the team where if it doesn't come, I think the team excels. And you can see that, I'll just get into the team builder with the first mod that we have. So this Arcanine, if Volcanion doesn't come, kind of just clicks Flare Blitz for free. The only like Flare Blitz resist, if there's no Volcanion, is like Iron Moth, which I don't think is coming in because it doesn't want to burn the booster energy. And then Sandaconda, which, again, sort of similar reasons, I don't necessarily know is the most likely bring. If one of Sandaconda or Volcanion comes, the Arcanine set is worse, but if neither come, the Arcanine set is really good. But if neither come, I'm going to use this as a dedicated lead, I think, and it, again, will depend on the team comp that Q brings, but the idea behind this Arcanine is that I want to punish a potential lead Kleavor. If he leads Kleavor and tries to just Stone Axe me for rocks immediately, I am just going to click Iron Head, from getting the weakness policy from Stone Axe, click Iron Head and kill it. If it's Focus Sash, I get to E-Speed it next turn. And then whatever he brings in, it's either going to be like Thundurus or Iron Moth if it's not booster energy to like revenge me. I'll get a huge Extreme Speed off. If it's Hisuian Zoroark, I still click Extreme Speed to confirm it's the Hisuian Zoroark and then play accordingly. So at the very worst, if Kleavor leads, this mon trades 1-for-1. If he leads Meloetta like last time, it's even better. If he brings the same 6 as last time, or even like Grimmsnarl over something, and he leads Meloetta against this Arcanine, it just clicks Flare Blitz for free. He doesn't have a switch in. So the idea essentially is that I just break as soon as humanly possible. I'm not going to bring some kind of like lead Glamora set that's just going to like put me down 5-6 at the start. If he wants to set up hazards, I can set up hazards later. He can set up hazards first, and I'll trade 1-for-1 as quickly as humanly possible. And just make sure that this Arcanine is designed that I'm always ahead of the sack race at 5-5. I always have the momentum at 5-5, if that makes sense. So it's a good set. It's worked pretty much effortlessly and flawlessly in any mock that I've done up to this point. So yeah, that's the idea. Flare Blitz is for everything. Iron Head is to not take recoil from Kleavor. Extreme Speed is to, outspeed things like Kleavor because I'm not very fast. I originally was fast to outspeed Kleavor, but then I didn't guarantee take like a Life Orb Stone Axe, so I didn't want to risk anything like that. So we're bulky instead of fast. If he ends up bringing like Kleavor as a lead and then clicks SD, that'd be kind of bad. But again, with the fact that Glamora led in week 8, I don't know if he's going to lead Kleavor because he's giving me free T-Spikes if he does that. And he literally said that in his video. He said that in his commentary. I'm not going to lead a physical attacker because I don't want Glamora to get spikes. And he'll see Glamora on team preview, as you can see. So, again, it covers the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, he leads Kleavor to get rocks. And that's fine, and I trade 1-for-1. Best case scenario, he leads Meloetta, and I could just click Flare Blitz and have a fun time. That's the idea. So that's also what the bulk is really nice for. But yeah, that's really good. Hopefully that makes sense. The Wild Charge is also quite nice because it does a ton of damage to Volcanion, and if I get like 40% off on Volcanion, for example, it gets in range of a lot of my other mons like Dragapult and King Gambit and even Tauros. So even if he leads Volcanion for some weird reason, given that I could lead Glamora with Power Gem and just do a lot of damage to it, if he leads Volcanion, I can still just Wild Charge once and I'll get something out of it, if that makes sense. I might switch to Pult if he leads Volcanion, but I'm just saying that is an option in the game. So yeah, a lead Arcanine hopefully just puts on a lot of immediate offensive pressure at the start of the game is the idea. So next mon is Glamora that I'm going to show y'all. Glamora is a bit more defensive of a set this week, so I can take a Psychic from Meloetta with the Pyapa Berry, obviously. It also has a 50% chance to live 2 Kleavor Stone Axes after rocks. If rocks aren't up when Kleavor initially clicks Stone Axe, then I take 2 with the defense investment. I'm also never dying to 1 Boots Volcanion Steam Eruption from full. And most importantly, I'm never 2-hit KO'd by Hisui and Zorak's Shadow Ball. And because Hisui and Zorak could be running Psychic for me, I have the Piappa Berry. So no matter what combinations of moves he clicks, if he clicks Psychic into Shadow Ball into Psychic, Shadow Ball into Shadow Ball, I should live no matter what. The only worst case scenario is if he, or Psychic into Psychic. I take literally like 25% from the first Psychic and then 50% from the next Psychic. So that will allow me to get T-Spikes up, get Stealth Rocks up, and that's great. I think that could be a possible scenario, right? Where he just like attacks the Glimmora with what's in front, whether it's the Zorak. If it's the Zorak that kills the Arcanine, for example, after I click E-Speed, I then go into Glimmora, and he has two options. Either he can just attack me and risk like dying to a potential like Specs Power Gem or something like that, which I don't necessarily know if he'll do, just to get like 25% off with Shadow Ball. Or what I think he'll do is go into Bronzong. And if he goes Bronzong, that's really great for me because I can Toxic it with Corrosion Toxic. And if he does that, all of a sudden, like, the Iron Defense Body Press set doesn't become an issue anymore. He could be Rest, but I don't think he will be. So, you know, Glimmora just, on paper, baits in Bronzong very, very well. So if he makes the mistake of going into it and gets Toxic, that's amazing for me. I take Earthquake, I take Gyro Ball, I take all those things, which is great. Sludge Wave is the main attacking move. I obviously can't hit things like Iron Moth or Cleaver, but I don't think either of those are mons that are going to stay on me until I've revealed all 4 moves on my set, and by then I'm probably at like 2 HP anyway. And then even like Iron Moth would try setting up on me. It's actually probably more advantageous to click Toxic so that he can't like Morning Sun stall me like with Sucker Punches on my King Gambit. So Toxic's actually probably better for the Glimmora in that sense. But Glimmora's role is just to get up hazards. Like, Q does not have a hazard remover, I'm pretty sure, unless something gets defog, and I don't know. Even if it does, like, I don't think he's going to bring it. I think he's going to be really offensive about things. And even though he has an Iron Moth, getting T-Spikes up is really, really nice because it weakens down the Grimmsnarl, it weakens down the Meloetta, and if he brings the Iron Moth in, it wastes its booster energy, which is really important. So either way, I come out on top of that exchange. So that's Glimmora. Hopefully it forces some pressure through its sort of supportiveness, if that makes sense. The next mon that I am going to show you all is Dragapult. It is pretty basic, it's pretty simple, it's just meant to pivot around. I had a ton of different sets. This is actually probably the mon that I was most unsure about. I knew that it had to come. I mean, it's a Dragapult. At a certain point, I considered not bringing it, bringing G-Zap instead, but it's a Pult. Like, I'm not going to bring Pult here, especially against Q. But the set was very, very up in the air. Every move is really crucial, but the move that I think I'm clicking the most this game is U-Turn, right? Like, Dragapult is just going to be a really strong, fast pivot for me this game, and get me momentum where I need momentum, and that's fine. Like, Grimmsnarl could come in, click U-Turn, that's absolutely fine. The set is hard-walled by Grimmsnarl, but at a certain point, every Pult set is, unless I'm Will-O-Wisp, but if I'm going for T-Spikes, it doesn't really make too much sense. So the plan is, if I could just U-Turn out, and then go into, say, Gardevoir, or go into, like, Verboten if it's still high health, like, that's absolutely fine with me. The boots help me not take Rocks Chips, so I can just be a more sustainable switch in. And then I'm relatively bulky. I've UV'd this to take a lot of, like, really strong hits from things. So, for example, I take 1 Scarf Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam from Meloetta, so if he Scarf Meloetta like last time and clicks with Dazzling Gleam, I take 1 hit from full, which is great. If it's Modest, it's like a 40% chance at 1-hit KO from full. I take 1 Scarf Shadow Ball from Hisui and Zorak as well. It does like 99%, but I don't die, and that's the big point. If he's Modest Scarf, then I guess I have a chance to die, but I think with Tauros and G-Zap, Scarf G-Zap, which I brought last time running around, I don't think he'll be Modest, I think he'll be Timid. So I take 1 Scarf hit from Zorak, so if I'm a dumb girl, which I might be, and forget, you know, something might be a Zorak, and it's a Scarf Zorak, and it's Surprise, it clicks Shadow Ball against Dragapult, I still live, and I can, you know, U-turn on it, and then it'll be fine after that. What else? I take a max attack Adamant Sucker Punch from Grimmsnarl. No boosting item, just a regular 252 Adamant Sucker Punch from Grimmsnarl. That's really cool. In the same vein, I have, I believe, somewhat of a chance to live a Spirit Break, albeit I don't know if Spirit Break comes this match. Psychic Fangs guaranteed KOs Iron Moth after Rocks. And if it is at 100%, I think it's a 25% chance to KO. But I think if it's booster energy, it'll take Rock's chip. This is why Rocks are so important. D-Darts just barely misses out on the knockout. Psychic Fangs doesn't, so that's why we have Psychic Fangs. It also breaks screens if he decides to bring screens Grimmsnarl. It also hits Meloetta without having to Phantom Force after it's Terra Fairyed. There's a lot of options there. I also live 1 Jolly Night Slash from Cleaver with the CV spread, which is cool. And I still outspeed everything on his team with just going Jolly with no investment. So that's really nice. So yeah, that's the moves. Again, well aware that I get hardwalled by Grimmsnarl. I can't click Phantom Force until Grimmsnarl is dead, because if he switches Grimmsnarl on my Phantom Force, then this is just a dead Dragapult. So I need to be mindful not to do that. I accidentally did that in a mock like an idiot, and I don't want to do that. So Phantom Force is just there to either like hit Bronzong, right? I want to be able to hit Bronzong. And especially if Bronzong is toxic from Glamora, it will rack up the toxic chip, which is great. This also hits Meloetta. If Grimmsnarl is gone and Phantom Force is a little bit more free of a click, then it'll hit like the Terra Fairy Meloetta as well, which is really nice. So that's the Pult set. It's just meant to be sort of an offensive pivot, but we have these other 3 moves. Oh, the other big thing that it lives is a Dazzling Gleam. I should write this in my notes. It lives a special attack boosting Dazzling Gleam from Iron Moth. So if he's booster energy, special attack boosting, and then clicks agility, the only 2 options I have to revenge that are Sucker Punch King Gambit, which it might not be in range of, or go into Dragapult, chew the Dazzling Gleam from full, and then I'm good. So that's the idea. That's the idea. Yeah. Okay, next one is going to be Tauros. I'll go into Tauros next. Tauros is Scarf this week, which is a weird set because it does get stopped by Hisuian Zoroark, but if he lets Hisuian Zoroark go early, this mon goes crazy. It also pressures the hell out of Bronzong, which is amazing for Gardevoir, and you'll see why in a second. So it really forces out the Bronzong, albeit he will be kind of scared to go into the Bronzong to some extent because I brought Terra Ghost last time, but it's just Terra Normal here. Scarf, Body Slam, Double Edge hits his team really, really hard outside of the Zoroark and the Bronzong. And if either of those are gone, it gets punished. Scarf Tauros does a lot. It is really good because if it's also a Victory Dance Hisuian Lilligant, I can just click Terra Normal Double Edge to do a lot of damage and potentially revenge it if it has just a little bit of extra chip on it. Say if like Grimmsnarl and Cleaver are still around, Iron Head is a really free click, and then Zen Headbutt is really there for the Iron Moth and the Hisuian Zoroark, for example. Like a lot of these like other 2 moves are to like deal with not wanting to lock into a normal move if Zoroark still exists or if Cleaver still exists. So Iron Head accomplishes that, so does Zen Headbutt. Yeah, that's it. There's not a ton of extra thought put into this Tauros. It's kind of needed to deal with the +1 Hisuian Lilligant. And it's a really solid cleaner. It's another sort of cleaning option. Like Q's team very much relies on maintaining the offense, which means he relies on maintaining speed control against my team. So if I have the fastest mod on the field with Choice Scarf Tauros, I'm in a good spot. Alright, last 2 mons, probably the most exciting part of the team, is Trick Room Gardevoir with Weakness Policy. So we have 2 Weakness Policy mons this game, one for early game, one for late game. The idea with this Gardevoir is that it just pressures his team quite well. Moonblast, Psyshock, Shadow Ball hits everything except like a really spit out Volcanion, and I can click Trick Room against most things, which is really, really nice. I'm EV'd to live 1 Sludge Wave from Iron Moth. If it's special attack boosting Iron Moth, booster energy, then I live it from full, not after rocks. If it's speed boosting like he was last time, I guaranteed live it. And then there's a bunch of other hits that I live. I also live like a Gyro Ball from offensive Bronzong if he decides to bring that, which will trigger my Weakness Policy. So it's like bulky Weakness Policy, if that makes sense, with Trick Room. And if Bronzong is dead, say if Tauros baits out the Bronzong and kills it, then this underspeeds everything except for Sandaconda and Volcanion, which again is like, will they come, will they not come, I don't know. The speed here was sort of one of the last questions I had about this team. This is definitely interesting to have a 15 IV Gardevoir, but the reason we have it is because I found myself still wanting to potentially revenge Grimmsnarl, for example, or revenge Sandaconda with Gardevoir without having to worry about underspeeding them. So it sucks in the sense that if I do get a Trick Room up, they will outspeed me, but I I'm the one who controls whether Trick Room goes up or not. So I want to make sure that I am still outspeeding Grimmsnarl and Sandaconda while not, you know, while not having too much speed, if that makes sense. The reason we have 15 IVs and not just like 0 with 31 is because I want to make sure I'm just barely outspeeding Sandaconda, because if I'm 31 IVs, I take like 5 to 10 extra % from Bronzong's Gyro Ball, and I don't want to risk that. So I want to make sure that I am just slow enough to, you know, take as little damage from Gyro Ball as humanly possible, but just fast enough to outspeed the Volcanion, Grimmsnarl, and Sandaconda if I do need to revenge those mons, if that makes sense. So Trick Room is really nice if none of those mons exist, or if those mons are really low, for example, which is really cool. But the reason Trick Room is really, really good is because of Big Daddy Power Bottom right here. If King Gambit gets under Trick Room, if I click Trick Room with Gardevoir and then happen to die, King Gambit goes fucking crazy. There's an argument to be made that I should be Healing Wish and just go all in on this, but I still think this is a good mon, so I'm not going to do that. But if this mon dies and then this mon gets 2 turns of Trick Room, that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. With Supreme Overlord and Dual Stab, I'm just doing a ton of damage. The only thing that is living from full is the Hisuian Lilligant, which I can Aerial Ace, or the Volcanion and Sandaconda, which, again, if they come, which I think they're the 2 least likely mons to come, I just have to play in a way where I'm getting chip on them at all costs so that King Gambit can do the thing. Chapel Berry, so I could take things like Body Press from Bronzong, or Focus Blast from Zoroark, or Focus Blast from Malouetta, or, you know, Super Power, or Focus Blast from, you know, Thundurus. Like Joey said it in his live stream, like King Gambit is really, really good here if it didn't underspeed everything and everything got 4 times super effective coverage for it. So the idea with this is that I can either, yes, Sucker Punch everything, which is ideal, or I can get it under Trick Room and click some buttons. That's the idea. So that's the team. We're going to go in against Q. I'm playing the game tomorrow, but you're going to see it in about 5 seconds. So wish me luck. We'll see how it goes. I really, really want to go to semifinals of the PPL. This is the first time I've really done like a big team since my game against Mountay, which didn't go necessarily too well. So, or like a well thought out team, if that makes sense. So hopefully we'll be okay. It's just I need to like get back in the mentality of like, you know, caring, trying to win, things like that. So yeah, that's the idea. That's the team. Hopefully it works. It's a pretty fun looking team. I think it's my favorite team I've built all season. So hopefully you'll enjoy. Okay, we're here for a game against Q. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't just a little bit nervous. I think we have the best version of the team we possibly can have. It also looks really silly with the double weakness policy on it. We're gonna see what he elects to bring. I think Grimmsnarl has to be coming this time. It has to be, surely. We'll find out here. If there's no Zoroark, I'll be so happy. There is a Sandaconda and a Zoroark. That makes me sad. Okay. Sandaconda lives. Iron Moth lives. What does not exist? The only change he made from the last team to this current team is he replaced Hisuian Lilligant with Sandaconda. So that's a bit scary because Sandaconda could be Terra. The first question I want to ask myself is, do I still want to lead Arcanine? If he sees my Glamora, he either wants to lead Meloetta like last time, so I do not get a Hazard Up, or he just leads Sandaconda. I believe I still want to lead Mozart. I don't think there is an alternative, because if I lead Dragapult and it's Scarf Modest Meloetta like last time, I'm immediately in a bad spot. So I think I need to stick to the plan and lead Arcanine. I need to remember that Zoroark exists. This is one of my biggest weaknesses in Draft League, is that I always forget that Zoroark exists. So I literally have a dock up right now that in big, yellow, bolded letters says, remember Zoroark exists. And hopefully I will do that. But if he leads Cleaver, the plan will be how we plan it. If he leads Meloetta, that's amazing for me, because on paper he doesn't have a fire resist. He has Iron Moth, but he doesn't want to lead that shit. He leads Cleavor. Okay. This could be a Zoroark, but I doubt it. Do I want to Iron Head or not? Only way Stone Axe KOs me here is if he is Choice Band. That's the only world. So I'm going to click Iron Head here. Stone Axe comes off. It is going to land. It's not going to kill me. The weakness policy is going to pop, and Iron Head's going to take this thing either down to its sash, or it's just going to straight up kill it. Let's find out. Rocks go up. It's important to keep in mind, but we know. And this thing's sash. That makes sense. Is there a world he hard reads me and goes into Zorak? Maybe. Do I want to take that risk? Or do I care? Not really. I'm just clicking E-Speed. He has to worry about me making a read on him as well here. Yeah. Okay, so Arcanine is going to take Cleavor out. The set is going to work exactly as planned. The next question I have is if I'm in range of dying to rocks. I believe it said I had 93 HP left, which means I'm at 24%, which means if I come back in, I'm dead to rocks. I have no means of removal right now. So it behooves me just let this go down. Do I think this is a Zorak? I do. Am I going to go into Glamora risking that this is actually a Meloetta? Absolutely not. I'm just going to E-Speed. If it's Zorak, now I know. So let's E-Speed here. It doesn't affect. Okay, this is a Zorak. Amazing. Great. Fantastic. Something to note about this Sandaconda is it is probably Coil. It is probably Coil. It's Life Orb. Okay, that's huge information. That means that Pult could potentially come in here. There's no Fairy type right now. My concern with Pult coming in right now is I click Dragon Darts. Sandaconda could come in, and that gives Sandaconda a lot of shit, but then what do I go into afterwards? It's spooky, I don't know. I think I just go into this and darts, because Verboten is still very nice, but T-Spikes are also very nice. So do I want to click D-Darts to claim the KO? I think I do. I think I'm going to go D-Darts to claim the KO, because Chip on Sandaconda is massive, and it's going to tell me what the Sandaconda is, which is also massive. This should always be KOing. So we're going to go for Dragon Darts here. Yeah. Ooh. Tell me this is gone. Tell me this is gone. Tell me this is gone. That's amazing. Okay, Zorak no longer exists. There is no such thing as a Zorak anymore. That's fucking massive. Wow. Okay. So this is the real Meloetta. This could be Choice Scarf. Now here's the way I VB'd this. If he is Scarf, Modest, I have a like 50% chance to live. If you Scarf Timid, I always live and get a slow U-turn off. Otherwise, I just U-turn in general. Is Pult the most valuable thing to me right now? Pult is valuable in the sense that it does still live an Iron Moth hit. You might go for a Fairy move. That might be worst case scenario. Do I live a Fairy move into a Focus Blast? I think I have to. Hope. Yes. Might be a throw. Might be a big, big throw. We're gonna see the Terra Fairy probably come on, right? Yes. Okay, so it's going for D-Gleam right now. This is gonna give me information on what the hell this is. Oh shit. Fuck, I didn't calc the Terra. This is still doing under half unless it's Modest. Dazzling Gleam to me right now is doing how much? It's 356 to 211, which means it's not Modest. That means Focus Blast through Chopple still is potentially killing me. But I think I'm fine going into Verboten here because it is not going to click the other move. So he switches out into what? Sanda? I didn't think about this. Sanda. Okay. That sucks. I did not think about that. This could start coiling and become a huge problem. This is why I had Shuka initially. I believe my play at this point is actually just going to be go Gardevoir here. This thing can no longer Terra, but I have to go Gardevoir here. I think I do. I don't think the Trick Room option is going to work anymore given how much he's keeping Bronzong in the back. What are we going to see? Just EQ? Earthquake, yes. Alright, I keep missing what the starting thing is, but it looks like it did, let's see, 88 is 300, so it did 197, which means I think it's max attack Adamant. I just had the Moonblast for damage here. This is okay with me. Bronzong is fine with me. Check for an item. That was a crit. No item. Jar Ball's obviously taking me out. Shadow Ball, if it's max... It looks like it's max Pedef, given that that was a crit. Shadow Ball's doing 28 to 34. I think I want to take that, because if he's Cassib, I burn it, and I like that. I like burning the Cassib. I'm going to Shadow Ball. I don't think I get more utility out of this. It's not Cassib. Yeah, it looks like Spadef. Reflect. What is he going for? I think this is Scarf Mellow, the way that this is happening. I'm just going to keep Shadow Balling. There's no way this is Trick Room. Light Screen. I'm Infiltrator Pull. For a reason. Jar Ball's coming off. God, I wish I was Raging Bull as well. Do I want this to KO me? Or do I want to set up T-Spikes right now? Because that would help me against the Sandaconda. No, I'm just going to attack. I think I'm overthinking things. Gardevoir's going to get a kill against the Bronzong. Sandaconda took me down to 111, right? So 300 minus 111 is 189. That has to be max adamant. Iron Pizza comes in. That's huge. This could be Fiery Dancing. Alright, what booster is it? Speed. Okay, this is the speed boosting variant. Which means what? I want to... Shit. The information that I feel like I need to know now, I don't know if I'm able to know. I think he has to go for Sludge Wave, though, which is good. I think he has to go for Sludge Wave. Yeah. Psychic Fangs will break screens, which is amazing. And he can't, like, do anything. I don't know if Fire Dance KOs me. No, it does, because he crit! 111. And he gets this attack boost. Iron Moth. Booster energy. Ah, that didn't KO me! No! That's huge. Alright, so +1. Dazzling Gleam. Into my pull. Fucking KOs me. That sucks. That really fucking blows. Crit and the boost mattered. Unless I'm misthinking something. Oh, fuck. It doesn't KO. God damn it, I totally just threw. Okay. Well, maybe this is my opportunity to get T-Specs out. Actually, low-key might be. Psychic through my Pyapa's still doing a lot, which means I'm only getting one hit off here. But T-Specs are so good. Oh, but I'm definitely not... I don't have Rocks up, so Psychic Fangs isn't KOing. So I think I have to Toxic. Yeah, I have to Toxic. It's Energy Ball. It's not even Psychic. You can't Fiery Dance here. Psychic Fangs? Reflect up. Oh, I'm Infiltrator. I'm literally fucking brain dead. Of course it still hits through the thing. Psychic Fangs should be KOing now at this point, which is great. So Toxic was the right play. Is there a universe? No. I was gonna say, is there a universe he goes for the other move, but I don't think there is. So I've Toxic'd you. Amazing. My concern right now is killing this Sandaconda, because I don't have my hazards up. Guess what? Your girl doesn't have a choice. I have to Psychic Fangs here. Amazing brain on my part, by the way. D-Gleam's coming off. I always live this. I have EV to always live this. It's gonna do a lot, but I have EV to always live this. Yep. I'm breaking screens here. And now you're dead to poison. No more Reflect. No more Light Screen. Dragon Darts ain't doing a fucking lot to Sandaconda, I'll tell you that much. It's doing like 36 to 43. If he starts coiling, it's gonna be bad. Like if he's Coil Rest, then I think he has a shot to win. Brings Meloetta in, takes the KO, but he's bringing this in, so he's not doing that. I think I just have the darts. I really wish I was a Willow right now. But I'm just gonna darts. If he's Coil, he probably wins the game. Oh, that does nothing. Why is my calc saying that does so much more? And it's Coil. I think I just lost. No! Yeah, it's lefties. How much is Terra normal double edge doing to this thing? It's doing like 35 to 41. That's what I have to hope for, or crits here. I also have to hope he's not like rest. That's a crit. I'll take that. That's huge. That's massive. Okay. We're on to something, folks. Terra Normal Tauros Double Edge does 35 to 41 right now. That's what I have to bank on. I have Terra if I do this, yes? Surely that's under 35. I have to go for it. I don't have a choice. Holy shit. If I miscalced and he's Fizz Def, he probably lives this. Please KO. This was such a hard matchup. Yes! Let's go. Whew! Alright, if he wasn't rest, then this didn't matter. But if he was rest, then it definitely did. But if he was rest, he should have clicked it there, to be completely honest with you. So, he might think he still wins this if this is Scarf. Let me make sure. I mean, my move to click is always going to be Double Edge, right? It actually doesn't KO. Okay, well, I still gotta click it. And then go with the Sucker Punch one. Yeah, it doesn't do it. Focus Blast. I think he's Scarf. Which means I'm clicking Sucker. If he's not Scarf and he like predicts me with the Sucker Punches, then good on him, but holy shit. That crit, it might have mattered, to be completely honest with you. It might not. If he didn't have rest, what I would have done is I would have basically done the opposite of what I just did now, which is I would have gone into power bottom after he came, or after at a certain point, I suppose, or I would have just kept clicking it until he gets disadvantageous rolls. I almost clicked Kowtow Cleave there. That would have been absolutely atrocious. Sucker Punch. Give me the KO. We beat Q. Holy shit. We go to semifinals of the PPL. Y'all might say that wasn't deserved. Y'all might say it wasn't. But you know what? No, I did deserve that because Fire Dance crit and got the boost. The boost is whatever, that's 50% shot, but the Fire Dance would not have killed my Gardevoir. And then it would have meant I have a full health Pult. I think it mattered because I had to sack my Glamora. And Glamora would have been nice to get T-Spikes up, it would have been nice for a lot of other things. So he crit me with the Fire Dance, which 100% mattered. I crit with one of the Dragon Darts, which to be honest, I'm clicking Dragon Darts like 4 times, y'all. So one of them's bound to crit. Alright. That's it. We're going to go to semifinals.